All right, so here we go. This is the American Roadshow of HUI. This is day 3 and 4 combined. There was one day skipped as it was noticed, and I apologize, but yesterday days was to me pretty much dramatic. I was mentioning some problems with cross trading on the day 2 vlog, and it all had to be resolved. So what happened basically is that I've done 2 presentations in Connecticut, in Hartford, and they're pretty large, and I spent like 6 hours doing them. It was during lunch and dinner, and there's a gentleman who was sitting, who, yeah, after the presentation we sat down, and he said, I want to buy 6 grand worth of stock dollars, and he couldn't do that, right? So he was showing me constantly this error coming up, and other people also couldn't do that. So there are 5 main brokers in the US, and we thought that they all covered our stocks. There's one that doesn't, due to like some restrictions, but in general all of them do. And it occurred that one of them, which is TD Ameritrade, didn't. So now, of course, the problem was resolved, but it has taken a day to do it. It was just like, I would say, an oversight, not of mine, but just in general, it was a disaster for me. I was infuriated to a point that I couldn't imagine how to even, like, not break things, because I just found it so unfair. People loved the stock, people loved the story, people understood it, and they wanted to buy stock immediately. And I think that economy is much more about, and buying shares is much more about emotions than mathematics. People, of course, want their returns, they want their dividends, they want to see their share price go up, and so on. But they also want to believe in. They also, it's also they feel they want to buy it now, and if they cannot, yeah, they get angry. I mean, I'm the same. If I want to buy a T-shirt, and or if I want to buy a burger and I see a line, a queue, or if there's just nobody attending me at the store, I just leave. I'm not going to wait for somebody to help me out, and then I just don't buy it. So if the stock isn't available, and the screen is showing him that there's an error, well, then that's it. So the whole of basically end of Tuesday and Wednesday, I was trying to deal with that, and at the same time, it was very, very busy time in New York. Whole Wednesday was just packed with meetings, and most institutions, I will just say, that institutions start with J and with C. So maybe you can figure it out, maybe not, but I can't say who I was talking to, but there are big institutions who are moving to the ESG sector. They are like creating special branches for ESG because they realize that this is what they have to do. So I believe that this is going to this is the future. I mean, they'll be creating these branches in their offices, and they'll be growing them. So I met people who are in charge of this special branches, and they know their sector very, very well. They know Nikola, they know Black Power, they know all this kind of companies, and yeah, the story seems exciting to them. Of course, everybody wants to know when it is going to work and how long will it take me to build it, and so on, which is always a very frustrating question. But it was just packed with meetings. I think the most important thing that happened in New York yesterday was a meeting with 8 gentlemen, I believe, or 9, that were all representing family offices, millionaires, billionaires, and they just invest their money in what they find fit. So it was an amazing dinner, truly amazing. They all are very close connected together. So and and I actually love New York. I've lived in New York as a child, and I feel very much at home there. They're kind of like European, so I truly feel great there, and it was a great dinner. They were very well educated. They were very well read. You could see that they could just quote the Wall Street Journal, Financial Times. I mean, you could just have a very good discussion about everything pretty much, and they understand that recycling really is sometimes greenwashing. They understand sometimes the idiotic agendas of governments. They understand that solar and wind is not the answer, and so you're actually talking to people who get it, and it makes you feel like at home, that you're just not talking to people who just follow follow what some politicians are saying. They just actually they think they're thinking people, and they have their own opinions. We're talking about the war. Very interestingly enough, I was asked a question, who started the war really, whether it was Putin or actually it was Biden who was too harsh, and it's all very I would say mind, like brain triggering, which I found good. It was a very long dinner, which I found amazing. Then I had to rush to catch my plane to get to Atlanta. I arrived in Atlanta at 2 a.m. I arrived at the hotel at 3 a.m. Then I had a meeting, a Zoom meeting with an institution at 10 a.m. and then I had to do a lunch at noon. And I must say, Atlanta is pretty much. I mean, it's an amazing city. People are very happy here. There's I asked a couple of people, like Uber drivers and in general, like waiters. I mean, what are you drinking here? Do you have some special molecules in the water, or you all seem to be so happy, and this is just like the vibe here. So the lunch was attended by ex-brokers. And they were all very polite. This is this kind of southern gentleman approach, all men, very attentive, very interested, very knowledgeable. Some of them know Polish market, for example, very well. They ask very relevant questions, and I found it a very good lunch. I believe there was some, as we've managed to fix the glitch with the broker. People started buying, so there are some buys coming through, and I hope for more. I believe that people are going to think about it. Obviously, nobody buys at a whim. I mean, some people do, and they wanted to do in Hartford, and they were like, precluded from doing that because of the system, which truly made me angry. But I think the big boys from New York, they'll think about it, and they'll if they'll step in, they'll go big, I hope. And it's interesting because they ask me, some people like criticize me for writing emails in the middle of the night, or just being too jumpy, too hasty, and one of the gentlemen who's representing a big family office, he said, what I want from you, he said, I want you to always pick up the phone. I want you to write me back in the middle of the night. I want to know from you everything. If I ask you, I want you to be there. And this is how New York works, and this is what I actually like: the fast speed and the fast pace. I think this is how the world has to go, and this direction that it has to take in order to make things like that work. I mean, I also have this impression that if I would start any presentation saying, I have cure for cancer, or I have a way to kill all the all the political opponents you don't like, I would already walk out with, you know, $500 million and people will just adore me, right? But it seems like these technologies that are important, they need more attention, and they need meetings like that. You know, it's basically I had only 4 days here, and I believe I'm getting some traction, I hope, and basically that's it. So it was New York yesterday, Atlanta today, tomorrow there's Orlando. I'm meeting a market maker, and then it's back to London. So I believe I want to say something more about. I think I wasn't specific enough about day 2, which was Hartford, Connecticut. That one of the men I met there, he actually sits on a board of a technical committee of the municipalities, and he basically said, you know, to us, $30 million is nothing. If we can make sure that this works, we will love this technology. We will love this technology in the United States, and this would like serve a couple of whatever provinces, counties, and I said, well, this is great. So you see, it's people are buying stock, and I know I've already seen it. I've seen it happening. So probably, you know, just with the time differences, with the markets opening at the wrong time. I mean, at different times, UK and the US, and it's all mixed up. The cross trading between OTCQB and Aquis, it's not easy, but people are investing whatever they find fit at this point, and it's like very early on. So I'm not expecting millions tomorrow, and I shouldn't be, you know, expecting it. I would like it, but I'm not. But what is important is making connections, is getting the name out there, is meeting the right people, and as I said, like trying to do everything that is humanly possible to get this technology out there. And I strongly believe, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing that one day I will meet the right person who will say, I'm all in, and I'm going to roll it out with you. So there's like this, like in Atlanta, there's this big bus company called MARTA, and they have 400, I believe this is what was said to me today, 400 buses, and they also go hydrogen. So people were already counting how many systems would we need to fuel them, and it's 5 systems, because 3 tons of hydrogen pretty much will fuel 84 buses, as I counted for my city in Poland, Poznań. So you know, people are thinking. It kind of it triggers them. It triggers their thought. I mean, the whole idea of turning plastic waste into hydrogen makes them excited. So yeah, I would say that's it. And I can only hope for the share price going up, and I believe in people buying, and I believe I believe in making it work in the US, as I believe in making it in Europe. But US has more. I believe it's more aggressive. It's just the networking is faster. People want to introduce you immediately to somebody else. They say, oh, I know a senator, I know a governor, I know an owner of a company, I know a plastic manufacturer, I know this, I know that. You know, so they just want to help. They actually really genuinely want to help, and they want to make it work for you. So thank you very, very much, and tomorrow is Orlando, and I will see you tomorrow. Good morning, London, and good evening, Atlanta.